That will help me get back into the right frame of mind for this morning ritual. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Marlon. Second on the gate, second out of the gate this morning. Raul nailing that line drive right off the bat, pushing the runners in, you know. You know, here's a tip. Here's something that happens. If you have been around long enough, you can tell when I'm mentally rushing because I have a different attack on my pick. That's probably close enough for jazz, right? Okay, good morning, Mr. Tortorello. Good morning to you, kind sir. Robbie Smith, good morning. We were talking about my funky logo yesterday, and I just found this old sort of collectible from 013. It's one of the old Rebirth shirts, and we were using the QR codes here before anybody else, really. It was pretty cool because we had Kurt, let's see, was this Steve Gillette, and Cindy, his wife. Steve is, Mr. Gillette is a songwriter, a Disney songwriter. He wrote all of those songs that we all heard growing up, I think, and many of us still recognize today. And so he came up to visit, and we were advertising to visit with these QR codes. Nobody really knew what to do with them. All right, so bought some new toys. Uh-oh, what'd you get for a toy? Also, we're a day behind, 2 days behind getting into the parlor. So this was supposed to be converted into, working on conversion into the walk-in pantry by this time, but we've had so much snow we haven't gotten there yet. Can't wait to hear about those new toys. So Mark, good morning. I think we're in tune. I like to just pull on the strings too to make sure that, you know, I get all of that tension. Sometimes what will happen when especially if I tune down to a note, that slack sometimes doesn't make it over the net. And, you know, I want to be sure that when I play the guitar and I'm active on the guitar, I'll end up pulling on the strings sometimes, and then, especially if I'm bending and if I'm playing like Johnny B. Good or something. Whatever, so that can happen. Those bends can really pull things back up too. So I just go ahead, I'll play these chords, and then just sort of, if they're slightly out of tune, I'll pull on the strings to get that, to release that slack into the active part of the string set. So we'll go ahead and get started this morning. Fingers 4, 3, and 4 on frets 11 and 12. If you're just joining us, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth, which is it's a morning ritual for guitar growth. Actually, it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. But as you jump on board, you realize that it's a bunch of us playing guitar all over the world together in a morning routine. Every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we jump on the live stream here and go through these warm-up patterns. And we're doing 60 beats per minute all year long, all through 2025. I love those loves, man. That's whoever's crushing that love button, love it. Thank you. You could also show your love and enthusiasm by smashing that like button that's associated with the video too. So we definitely appreciate all of that. But the most important thing, your most important and most expensive investment here is your own personal seat time. So without further ado, I will remove the dilly-dally from this morning. So let's go ahead and get started. Fingers 3 and 4, 60 beats per minute, 4 tags per beat. 1 E and a 2 E11 and 12, fingers 3 and 4, and go. So we're using down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up with the picking pad. And working on my breath, gotta get myself sort of grounded. I'll probably slide my Birkenstocks off just to get sort of like on the ground. There we go. I'm feeling like it's getting there. Guitar for everyone. Good morning, crew. Oh, I missed a few things here. Sorry about that. What kind of toys, Anthony? Yeah, that's right. Right on it, Rob. Good morning, crew. Mark. Yeah. Good morning, boss. Zach Attack. Zach is back. Good morning, everyone. Guitar for everyone. I love that G40. Perfect. An Epiphone Olympic Masterbuilt and Gibson SG with a repaired headstock. Well, congratulations. Are any of those going to be in ship shape for your February 21st gig this coming up? Also, Anthony, how did your gig go this weekend? Did you play with a DJ this weekend? 1 E end of fingers 2 and 3, 3 E end of folk and turning into Angus. I can see that happening. That really slick, quick response, physical response to the downbeat. I can see it happening. Angus is what got me started. Spent a long time there. Like button won't work because I smashed it already. That's right. Nice work, Mark. I always tune up, not down too. Yeah, that's a good policy. Yeah, we always do the work our way up. That's right. Good life philosophy. Eric Olson, good morning. You have to oil it every day. Yeah, the nut, I usually put some graphite in the nut, underneath where the strings slide over the nut. Alright, fingers 1 and 2, here we go. And 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a O E and 11 and 12, D7. Will you please teach me to play my guitar? Absolutely, Linda. You are in the right place. I mean, I think you're in the right place. I'm going to go with a gut feeling here and say that you're in the right place. So what we are doing is we are doing the thing before the sign. So we are having the playtime. We are learning all of this mechanical, we are working all of these mechanical angles. If you're a beginner, or if you're an intermediate player, or if you're an advancing guitar player, all of this is relatable. And this will help us to learn the things that we want to learn more quickly and more readily, because we are creating a situation of readiness in our fingers, both our picking hands and fretting hands. Sometimes we do this every weekday morning, Linda, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, and we go through this process of warming up, and we're going to talk about finger stretching, we're going to talk about why we would do this, we're going to talk about some scalar approaches. Today is day number 2 in picking pattern, or strum pattern. This is strum pattern. So yesterday we started at the last 20 or 15 or 20 minutes or so, the last quarter or third, we start working on new things just to keep us pushing forward and absorbing new things and folding them into the mix. It's like making a nice waffle batter. 1 E and a 2 E and fingers 3 and 4, frets 10 and 12. This is exactly where we want to be. It's every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do post these videos for on-demand viewing after they have been published, these live streams are published to be watched on demand. What you can do is, if you have a difficult time keeping up with something, you can go watch it at half speed, 3/4 speed. You can slow it down and play along with us. We do leave the live chat intact because oftentimes, many times, we will have a really highly engaged and exciting live chat from these guitar players in this live chat. The ones who have been here since before the beginning, actually, are very highly skilled and very, very accomplished guitarists in their own worlds, in their own rights, in their own lives. They're touring in bands, they're playing gigs, they're playing campfires, they're just hanging out for the good time. There are a number of perspectives here to interface with, and it's all free. Okay. The only thing it costs you, and it's the most expensive piece of this, is your seat time. And then once in a while, if you want to throw a super chat out, we do love those too. So fingers 2 and 3, 1 E and a 2 E and frets 10 and 12. Go. I hope that's helpful, Linda. Sir, it's 1 a.m. Melody Duo in India. It's night. I get that. So you can watch this Melody Duo. Thank you for being here. You can, maybe you just heard I was... Oh, let's go ahead and start this over again. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. And we're descending position 1. My fingers are a little fetched up from operating the tractor all day in the below zero weather. It was cold yesterday. Yeah, we've done a preliminary release on a new song called Still Neighbors. It's got 2 titles, like the title in parentheses, the second half of the title is Post-Election Lullaby. So it's just a really cool song, and we are getting ready for the official release, but we sort of have been just testing the video here and there. 1 E and fingers 1 and 2 and frets 10 and 12. 2 E and what? I see the likes are coming up nicely. Yesterday we reached a new benchmark. I think we accumulated 40 likes in the span of our live stream. I'm not sure if that's the first. I think that might be the first time we've done it. So we're shopping for 40 likes today. I don't know if we can do it, but I think we can. But we're working. Let me get through some more of these chats here. All kinds of us up in here. It's great. Yeah, I love that, Zach. Linda, I can play the trumpet. That's all right. See ya. Bye. Linda, don't go. Sure did. It was great. Nice. Zach, attack. Jason, you were the coolest man. Well, I don't want to enter a debate, but I certainly appreciate the sentiment. I'll tell you that right now. I certainly appreciate that. Every one of us can easily deserve. We can absorb those kind words, and I think Zach. I think you're the coolest man. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T. Oh, let's do this. Fingers 2 and 4, and we're just rolling through. We want to get back to the strum patterning and rhythmic displacement. 1 E and a 2 E and a 1, 2, 2. I think you know what to do. It's 2 and 4 on frets, and then that beautiful spread that we got going on, that 3-fret spread. 200 dancing people. That's an interesting thing, man. That's a very, very cool experience. Hater K, what's going on? How can you talk and play at the same time? You're an undercover pro. Oh, hey. I'm an undercover something. I'm not pro. Maybe a pro. Yeah, I guess I've been paid for since 90 97, you know, I was in, I don't know, paid for a while for doing this. You know, made over probably, I don't know, $1 million. Probably could have done a lot better job. Made a little bit. You know, as soon as Quincy Jones says, as soon as you do the thing for money, God leaves the room. And Raul, I did want to comment on that a little bit. I really appreciate your emails of support and your wonderful ideas. So thank you very much. Those are not going unnoticed. So 1 and 3, and Fritz 9 and 12, doing the old stretcher Rooney. 2, 3, and you know what to do. Bah. There we go. I used to have this first. One of my private mentor teachers and guitar professors at the university, one of the universities. His name was Gary Whitman, and he would always just do this like rhythmic stuff with his body and then illustrate it with his mouth with syllables and just like, it was the first time I ever saw anyone behave like that. And I thought, wow, what a, you know, he's pretty confident in his person to behave like that in front of other people. And then I realized like it's part of the language is just getting it in the body, getting it in the soul, and then, you know, you hear the stuff, and the trick is to feel the stuff. Yeah, and then talking and playing does require a lot of practice, but I've had a lot of practice at it, so if it looks easy, it's, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, but I had an early guitar teacher tell me that, you know, eventually, if you want to teach guitar, you really should know how to talk and play the guitar. So you can talk through the modeling, right? So here's the arpeggio, the sweep arpeggio, you know, from the Mark Knopfler famous Dire Straits tune. And then walking down the minor pentatonic chord, basically the minor 7 arpeggio. And then it helps to be able to talk and illustrate, narrate the model that you're delivering. So that's probably something I just picked up and endured that hardship and suffered. Probably people were wondering what I was saying most of the time early on. But now it sort of works for me, you know, and I appreciate you noticing that. Mostly crazy all the time is in the house. Here's a guitar wizard right here. Wow. Yeah, thank you for taking the time to be here, mostly. That's awesome. Alright, where are we at? I'm so excited. Alright, fingers 2, 3, and 4. And fingers 2, 3, 4, 10, 11, 12. The same old, a little bit more of the same old, but we're just going to pour it on thick in a few minutes. So 1 E and 2 E and 2 E and 10, 11, 12. 200 dancing people, I still can't get over that. I love that sound of that. Glad to have you here, Hey UK. Very cool. You're really gonna ignore me? Oh no, I don't think I'm gonna ignore you. I get to these things late. I'm here primarily to practice. And, you know, occasionally I've got to, you know, get other people through practice. And, you know, I'm not assuming that you're playing. I'm kind of assuming that you're playing. If you're here hanging out, you're either watching and absorbing and playing, and you're waiting for me to stop talking and just get on with the show. Or you're here absorbing things so that you can work on pulling it into your own routines later on. And so I don't always see the live chat. But the live chat, I'll have you know that there are a number of great players in that live chat that can answer any questions and respond to any questions at any moment with authority. Yeah, I love this little thick pick because it really, you can draw that tone out of the guitar. A 1 E and a 2, and fingers 1 and 2 and 3. Good morning, boss, Dan Husband. Welcome, Linda. Yeah, very nice. Thing to start doing. Thank you for that. Dominic, I see that. So this is happening. If you're new here, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth, where what we do is we meet every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we do is we work through breath. We work on tuning the guitar before we get started. And then we go through our morning ritual. We continue our morning ritual of chromatic style exercises. They're simple in nature, and what all we're doing is attempting to nail these things down and then become perfect in our relationship with this part of our guitar lives, our guitar practice. And what do guitar practitioners do? They practice the guitar. Alright, so let's take another look. We're here finally at fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're early, we're arriving early, so let's go ahead and keep this motor running. And 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know, fingers, okay, position 9. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2 E and a 2 E and a. What I'll do is walk us through a guided tour. We're all just here alone practicing, but we're with each other, and we have a beautiful live chat. And the live chat is just full of good, positive news. And it's a nice little pocket of respect on the internet. We definitely appreciate that about this endeavor. So what I'm doing is I'm descending this 4th position now. And then I'm descending to the 3rd position and ascending the 1, 2, 3, 4, the old 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm working on keeping my 4th fingers, all of my fingers relatively close to the fretboard. That way they can be ready to go and fire away and service the fret necessary in order to accomplish the melodic objective. So these are basically nice little linear patterns. Well, what we're going to talk about after we stretch the 4th finger and the 1st finger, and you know what I mean if you've been here, we're going to talk about the finger roll exercise again. We don't want to lose that one. We want to maintain that one for certain. You can hear my dog singing with us. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. Tuckerman, come here. Tucker! Good boy. Hey. Good boy. Let's say hi to Tuckerman. Here, Tuckerman. Hey. You want to sit down? He's got to get his toy. He's a good boy. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Good dog. Yeah. You can stay here with me if you want. Mama's got a week off this week, so we're converting this dog room into walk-in pantry. So there's a lot of activity. So we'll start with the 1, 2, 3. Stretch the old 4th finger. 1 E and a 2 E and a 9, 10, 11, 13. Dominic, good morning. Oh yeah, so just allow me to complete my thought about the morning ritual for guitar growth. It's here every weekday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But what we're also doing is we're making a commitment to be here all throughout 2025. I mean, some of us will make it, some of us won't. But those of us who do should record a video of ourselves following along with this so that we have evidence of our practice techniques. And then at the last session of this year, we're going to do a mass recording of us just taking a snapshot of where our technique is, and we're going to go through each we're going to go through and review each piece of the rubric, identifying like where we made the gains and what we can do for the next year to improve and make further gains. Right? So this is just a warm-up. All it is, it's simply an act to get us on the guitar every morning, first thing. We're turning ourselves into solid guitar practitioners. And we're working on getting warmed up for the day, which is going to be for me most of the time I'll be in the studio working at some capacity. So it helps for me to warm up in the morning, so I'm warm for the rest of the day, and I can more easily access the things that I'd like to access readily. So let's take a look at kicking that first finger back. And we're starting with 8, 10, 11, and 12 now. And this one's usually a bear for me for some reason. Could have something to do with, I have a little bit of an injury here. You can see that that's sort of like where from about here to about here is about how far the chop saw made it through my finger. So I got pretty lucky on that one. So that was an alarming event. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a faux E and a. Hey Ricky, good morning. Hello, Sir Edmonds. Okay, well, some crazy all the time. Still waiting on that name reveal. That's funny. I moved my amp to another part of the room last night. It changed everything. Oh yeah. Yeah, right on. You meet any of your trumpeter friends, your trumpet playing friends will I used to play a lot with a fellow named John, right? He'd always practice, he'd go find a corner somewhere and literally blow his horn into a corner. And I just let it be for a while, and then eventually I asked him what he was doing, and he said, well, every time I play the trumpet, I blow the sound away from my person, so I can't really study my sound, so I stand in the corner to play my guitar or blow my horn, and that way I get instantaneous feedback on what my tone actually sounds like. So I'm excited to hear that we're experimenting spatially like old school with amp placement and potentially mic placement. Good. All right. So now we're arrived finally at a place where we can do a quick stretch, and we are 30 minutes in, so we're overdue. Sorry to keep you on your stretch, off your stretch game, but we're straightening out the elbow here, and then what we're doing is just pulling back on I haven't stretched at all yet today, so this feels great. Just doing a 15 click stretch here. 15 clicks is very simple. Breathing. What kind of amp are you using? That's a good question. What kind of music did you play for the 200 people, Anthony? Kempers. Oh, anybody using the Kemper or the Fractals? Man, I had the AX3 in the shop for a few months, and I really love those things. And just awesome, great opportunity. There's still it's super close, but there's no, there's not really any. I don't know. I think it's good. I think it's really good, and you'd have to be. Yeah, I liked it, and I know I definitely appreciate the value of what it is, but I haven't used any Kemper stuff yet. Anthony, Hot Rod DeVille, oh nice, 212 clean channel only with tube screamer. Oh, I've got one of those old green ones, the old TS10 from back in the day. The vintage one now they're selling for like $700 on Reverb. Craziness, crazy. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. I'm still counting my time too, still counting. MXR Supergana if I want more. Oh, good idea. Ayush, good morning from India. Thank you very much for being here. We're here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7:30 a.m. every day, every weekday morning for the entire year of 2025 and maybe beyond. You never know. I mean, this is what we do. Guitar practicing is what we do. So I'm engaged, deeply engaged. Can't say deeply. I get deeply engaged in my stretching. Yeah, I'm supposed to be deeply engaged with my practice routine, my morning ritual routine. And sometimes that entertainer switch gets flipped and I forget that I don't want to be that person. So, it's nice to be that person, to be entertaining, but there's definitely a value there, but that's not my objective, as you know. So let's go ahead and work on that finger roll exercise. We have a little bit of time before we need to flip the switch over to strum patterns. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about what we're doing. We're going to skip over that diagonal pattern for today, I think. And we're going to just come back to this really nice finger roll exercise. But let me get a little closer. I've chewed some breath freshening gum, so don't worry, it's not too bad. So we have this nice fingertip here. We're rolling up to, and it's an uncomfortable part of the finger, and it's rolling up to the next smaller string. While that finger is holding that note down, the next available finger is arched up and over it so that we don't interrupt its ringing values. And we're using another uncomfortable part of the fingertip, and you can see these other fingers are wildly out of place. So I'm just going to reel those back in, and then switch, roll that finger up. Get that third finger up there on point, and then roll that finger up. Fourth finger up on point and roll that up. This takes a tremendous amount of effort to get off the ground. At least it did for me. I'm going to give you a second to absorb that while I have a wee bit of bean. Let's go, Tucker. Yeah, right on. Tucker, he's out there whining for mom to come. He wants some attention from mama. See, sorry I get behind on the live chat. I really apologize, but I won't get to everything all the time. That's just the way it's going to work, I think. And of course, Raul is he's the exemplar here in the way that he's recording his morning ritual with another camera so that we can go back and study his technique and the growth patterns over the year. It's kind of a scary thing, so I'm thinking if I get to the end of 2025 and I don't grow at all, I'm thinking, man, what a fraud. You know, I'm putting a little bit on the table here in the way of risk. And I could be fully exposed at the end of this year, and I'm thinking, what would that do to me personally, you know? I don't think so. I think I could have gotten over worse. But that's not good. That's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case at all. Guitar Samurais, training Guitar Samurai. Anyone following along for this year will massively explode this playing level. That's good to hear. That's definitely good to hear. So here we go. Let's work through this finger roll exercise. is we'll get back to, oh yeah, okay, I need to talk a little bit about the string approach. So when we do this thing right here, we're on 9, and then we're just picking on the outside of the strings. Until the face melts off like the Indiana Jones scene. And then we go back to, we descend the pattern, anticipating where the finger will need to be. So there's a little bit of that inside picking going on. So before, we were outside picking this 2-string group. All right. Now on our descending pattern, we're inside picking this 2-string group. And on a very good day, what we're searching for is clean single note sounds. Okay, we're searching for that kind of stuff. We'll spend a couple more minutes on this. We may not get through the entire thing, but let's go through a couple cycles of it. And we'll use 2 attacks per beat. 1, and this is the finger roll exercise. 1, and then 2, and T, and go. This is the best way to start a day as a guitar player, absolutely. We are 100% Kempers. Well kempt. Anthony Pepper picking, strumming on Josephine is impressive. Oh, did I miss something? Oh no, I saw that. Yeah, me too. Great song. Great writing, great band. Denim Dennis, Josephine, right here on YouTube. Inside picking. Chris, can you play Joanne Stewart? Terry well, I'll have to take a look at it. I don't know exactly, I'm not familiar with it, but I would love to be familiar with it, so thank you very much for asking. I already knew about him. My bad, buddy. I thought you were asking, but it's still on What is that tic-tac sound? That's a good question. It's a metronome at 60 beats per minute. If you're still here, I'm not sure if you're still here, but you're more than welcome to grab a metronome and click it at 60 beats per minute and join us. Or you can use this tick sound. I'm really so happy you like my music nowadays. There's a lesson in that million views with cat videos versus musician views, right? There's a lesson there. Let's go, Raul. You know what's going on. How are we measuring growth by? Oh, that's a good question. All right, that's the first time we've heard that question. So there's a rubric, and when you're in a performance degree, you're judged. There's a peer review system, and there's a rubric of a number of growth measures that we'll look at. So what I'll do is I'll start talking about that as we get a little closer. So that's a really great question, and I think that's a good time for us to. I know we typically like to come back off the pattern, but we're going to jump had one of those little hits where we have a drum roll, but we have, let's just get through this, the rest of these comments real quick, just real quick. ASAP as possible. Oh, cool, right on. Wait, is the band ASAP? As we get to the end of the year and have a little growth as a guitar player, you will have massive growth as a community leader by bringing us all together. So when, all right. I feel like there's a group, that I feel like we can take this a little further. I think we can take this further. So there's some work moving forward in that direction. So I like that attitude, boss, Mr. Husband. It's very, very good, cool attitude. Those times are going to be tough. Yeah, the times will come. Their times are coming back. Guitar for everyone. Don't feel sad. It's right here, right now, right in front of us. Yeah, it is. It is. You have a band right there in your house. That's a good one. Zach Tack. Dennis is outstanding. That's the band that our friend here in the live chat, Anthony Tortorella, plays in. So let's go ahead and take a look at Dennis. Certain great group, and they've got a date here in Philly. I guess this February 21st. So keep an eye out for that, and be nice to be supportive of that. So what we're going to do is we'll just take a look at, rhythmically we talked about some, let me go ahead and turn my delay pedal off, turn the old flashback off. So I'm working on just downbeats, just getting with the metronome, 60 beats per minute. And this is part of the strumming situation that we talked about yesterday. We talked about rhythmic displacement. So instead of playing all 4 beats, I might start with only one attack per measure, and that attack might be, I might need to study the second beat. 1, 2, T, 4. So it's 1, rest, 2, dugga, 4, 1, 2. Could be 2E. 1 and a 2E and a 3E and a 4. And 1 and a 2E and you notice that, if I'm playing Rastafari in a reggae band, I might have to start really thinking about playing my part. 1, 2, 2E and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3 and a 4E and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 1. So that really helped, and just moving that from the second beat to the third beat, displacing that from kicking it down the bar, just one beat makes a huge difference in the feel, the overall feel. It's completely, the rhythmic pattern it generates the feel, it generates, in many cases, the genre, it dictates what the feel is going to be, what kind of music is it that we're playing, and that's largely based on the rhythmic patterns that we understand and can play. So what I'm trying to teach and share here is that you can play any genre of music, any skill, achieve any skill level, as long as we understand that if we're playing in 4/4 beats per measure to T4. Occasionally I'll try to count chords. So 1, 2, T, just on beat 1, and 1, 2, T. Sometimes I'll count 1 and 2, T and 4 and 1. I'll count an 8th note grid, T, and that just tightens up my grid a little bit more. I'll tighten it up even further by counting 16th note grid, 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. If I count only quarter notes, what is going to happen is there's so much, if I count 1 and then rely on the next beat just, there's so much space between this attack and the next possible attack, or the next beat. It's kind of a guessing game where to precisely place that next attack. If I have four subdivisions before that next attack, I can easily keep my place and know precisely where the next attack is going to be. So depending on the tempo, I would recommend counting. You could count quarters if the tempo was like burning hot. You could just drop quarters, or you could count eighth notes, 2 and 3. If you wanted a little more room for like maneuverability, you could just. But I'm still feeling 16th note rhythm there, right? 1 and a 2, D, E, and a, so that helps me keep things in place. So as we distribute the beat, the single attack per bar through the measure, we could end up on the and of 3. 1 and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and, or we could end up on the E of 3, 3 E and a 4 E and, or the E and the and of 3 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E, 2 E and a 4 E and. So you can imagine like all of the wonderful prog rock you could write, when we played all of those rhythmic potentials, those rhythmic possibilities in unison as a band. So there's a lot of room there for growth, some serious growth. But we're starting on the 1 programmatically. We start on downbeat, 2, 3, and just practice hitting that downbeat as consistent beat, like right there on top of that metronome. It's hard to do. Hey Tucker, what's going on? He's up there howling. 4, and I'm not going to spend the whole word on that, but you get the idea. We can take that over to 2. Get as close to 2 as we can. Regardless of whether we're talking or not, we need to know where the beats are. 3, 4. If we want to play in the bandstand, 3, we want to be able to manage our own time. We want to govern all of our own time continuum, right? So if we have 2 attacks per beat, we could do on 1 and beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 4. Or we could start working on, the Doobie Brothers might have a different approach. Rhythmic displacement really is important. And when we start working on introducing that into our harmonic hygiene, so our harmonic hygiene or our rhythmic hygiene becomes really important. Basic strum pattern that I remember, the first one I remember learning was sort of a blues shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now we're also taking that same beat, and instead of breaking it down in duple form, we're breaking it down in tertiary into 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what we would do is play on the 1 and the 3, or the triplet, 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 or the 1 and 3 of each grouping. Or if we wanted to count it out first, so we could identify where exactly those 3 beats are. Those 3 tags belong. We can lay down the framework. And that's when all my troubles start to begin. I get the blues. The third shift blues. You got me now. If you don't want to lose. So that triplet feel really makes, it really is a whole different plan, it's a whole different rhythmic language to really attach ourselves to and to really absorb and learn about. But even before we get to that, we're still working on sort of the bass note, sort of the boom chick strum pattern. And this is where if we get super clean, we can use just basic root note presenting the bass note first. The bass note could be anything. The bass note could be the root note, or the alternate or changed bass note.